This is Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times. I'm here with my colleague, Justin Chang, and we're going to talk about The Lion King, the big new film of the week and the weekend and maybe the summer in terms of box office potential. So, Justin, what do you think?
Oh, it exists.
That's not a trick question.
I mean, like everyone, I think I was fascinated by it just as a piece of technology and as a demonstration of what you can do now in terms of computer-generated imagery. And I understand that there was some virtual reality techniques that were also brought to bear, which you can see in the movie. I don't think the movie did not work for me just on a dramatic level, and I'm curious to know how it would be if I went in as a complete newcomer to the material, not having seen the original.
Question, yeah.
I just think that, for me, the movie, I think, misunderstands just how the original movie, which was also kind of a very far-fetched kind of fantasy, but it worked because it was a cartoon. So for me, I found the characters just hard to connect with. I found it, to me, there wasn't anything going on behind the eyes. Yeah. But I also think it comes to life here and there. It works better in fits and starts than as a whole for me. Yeah. But what did you think, Kenny? I think you liked it a little more than I did, but
yes and no. Yeah. I think I disliked it less, I think I would say, rather than liked it more. As you say, technically it's quite astonishing, that they can create with a computer animals that, to all intents and purposes, look like they're talking like you and me. Like there could be two lions sitting in this chair, reviewing the LA Times. This could happen. It's very convincing, even though it's not real. It's very convincing, and I thought it was very impressive. But on a dramatic level, I wasn't wild about it, but in truth, as we've talked among ourselves, I don't know that you feel the same way. I think you do a little bit. I wasn't necessarily wild about the animated one. And for me, the gap between the emotional impact of one versus the other, I think that's the difference. Yeah. I don't feel a great difference. I wasn't hugely, I went back, I dug out my review from whatever it was, 1993 or 94, and except for the meerkat and the warthog, I wasn't crazy about the animated film story-wise. Yeah. And this one, it's similar. I'm fascinated by people who are kind of horrified at the new one, and who kind of just can't believe that Disney is actually doing something to make money. How did this happen?
Yeah. It's not. I certainly don't see the original as some sacred text that could not be deviated from. And I think it's funny. I remember because your review is probably maybe one of the less enthused ones at the time, and it always has interested me that The Lion King is the original, the 1994 film. Is one of Disney's greatest successes of all time, and I think it is still the highest grossing hand-drawn animated film of all time. And I see why. I like the movie well enough, but for me, as Disney's 90s new wave renaissance, for me it's like the Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast are up here, and then Aladdin, and then The Lion King is at a respectable distance.
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually, yeah.
For many people, though, that is the one they connect with, the one that they love and watch over and over again.
And the screenwriter said, Jeff Nathanson was quoted in the press material saying, "You think this is the best animated film ever made, the original?" And I'm just not on that page.
I'm not there at all, no. I find it really, it's interesting because I think the original, the emotional journey that Simba goes through actually feels really truncated and abrupt and manipulative to me, and just the way it works out, the way they use Mufasa's death. Spoiler alert: Mufasa dies. Spoiler alert: he dies in this one too. And I think that this new movie, one thing it has tried to do is correct for that a little bit, and that explains why the movie is longer. This movie is almost 2 hours.
It's a half hour longer.
And they've tried to, I think, pad out that arc and give Nala, voiced by Beyonce in this one, and the new Simba is voiced by Donald Glover. I think they've tried to pad that out a little bit, and I appreciate that, although I don't think it necessarily makes great gains. But yeah, it's
still The Lion King,
It is, very much so. What distinguishes Disney is that even though they've always been in the business of making money, and Walt Disney was a consummate showman and a really, and also certainly good at a great commercial mind as well, is that they really did make some fantastic popular art in the process.
Oh, totally.
And there is something, it shouldn't be sacrosanct, but it may, if I look inward, I'm also a little bit uneasy, perhaps, more so with this than I am with just the constant sequel franchise machine that
Yeah,
Hollywood has
yeah.
become. But that's true. I mean, what are they supposed to do? I mean, I think it would sit well with me if I knew that they were committed to original films as well. And
That's a good point.
And I hope they are.
That they were parallel programs, that they were trying to do new stuff. They weren't just kind of excavating old stuff. They weren't just reanimators.
So to speak. Well, we will keep an eye on them, and we will continue to follow this story and others. Please, you can read our reviews and commentaries in the LA Times or at latimes.com.